Good morning, Southern California, AM 1220, KHTS. Host Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by two beautiful ladies, Holly Feneht, and Holly Feneht owns Gilded. Hopefully I get this right. Gilded Lily? I get that right? And it's a tattoo, but it's a different kind of tattoo, right? It's not a permanent tattoo?
Oh, it is permanent.
Oh, it is permanent. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. It's paramedical body art.
Okay. And you've been doing it for many, many years, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Traditional tattoos, and then more so recently, the paramedical work.
Okay. So you've been doing this for years. How did you get involved in it? Did you just have a tattoo and you just loved it, or were you an artist and got dragged into it? What?
A combination of all of the above. For the paramedical tattooing, definitely inspired by very close family and friends having cancer diagnoses, and just started doing scar cover-up work, and then thought, this is what I need to do. So.
Yeah, and that's actually beautiful, and I never thought of it that way. Where tattoos, they're art forms for people. They're they tell their story in some cases, but in this case, sometimes you want to cover up something. Maybe it's unsightly, or someone has had an operation or has some tough times.
Yeah, or a bad memory, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nikki Black is a writer and comedian living in L.A. here.
Hi.
And welcome. And you were diagnosed with, and I'm so sorry to hear this, breast cancer at the age of 23.
Yeah, I was 23 years old.
Wow.
No family history.
No family history?
None, yeah.
Well, it's good that they diagnosed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had a double mastectomy. I'm 25 now, and I'm in remission. I've just started Lupron injections, and I'll do that for 5 years.
Wow. And so tell me how the two of you met.
There's an organization called Personal Inc. That connects young women with breast cancer, or any woman with breast cancer, to tattoo artists who specialize. So I was searching Los Angeles area for that, and I saw Holly's work online, and I thought, I have to go there.
And so all the tattoos you do are permanent tattoos, right?
Correct.
There's permanent and then there's temporary, right?
No.
Okay, there's just permanent. Okay.
I mean, if you were to get cosmetic makeup done, that's semi-temporary.
Okay.
It might, start to fade after a couple of years. But yeah, traditional tattoos are there forever.
Now, Holly, how did you get involved in doing, and let's call it paramedical, and tell us what paramedical tattoos are specifically and kind of how you got involved in it.
It's basically anything medical related. If there's scar cover-ups or birthmarks or anything, any kind of skin
imperfections?
Imperfections,
yeah.
There's the word for it.
Well, maybe imperfections sometimes make you perfect too, though, right?
Right. I mean, it's what makes you unique, and that getting a tattoo over something like that just makes you that much more unique and individual. It's more of an expression.
Tell me how you found, or how you, how did you fall into it? What impacted you to get involved? Did you see someone, or did someone come in and ask for it? What was that trigger point to get you involved in it?
Well, it was a combination. It was people coming in and asking for work, and a lot of times it's a more personal thing, and so being a female artist, I think, lends itself towards being a little more attentive and thoughtful. I have a background in psychology, and so I wanted to be an art therapist, so I think I have a little bit more ability to
relate,
connect.
maybe?
Yeah.
Connect or relate?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And Holly, tell me, what did it mean to you? Tell me about your tattoo, and what did it mean to you to get it?
Oh, Nikki.
I'm sorry, Nikki.
That's okay.
Nikki.
My tattoo for me, when you have breast cancer, you lose control of your body in so many ways. You lose physical parts of your body, but it's also an incredibly sexualized disease. Even slogans like "Save the Tatas" or "Save Second Base" sort of reduce a woman to a part of her body that she's losing anyway, and so they can be extremely hurtful and psychologically damaging. But for me, the tattoos are really a way to sort of take back control of my body, to say this is a mark that I'm choosing to put on there. And working with Holly, she just makes the space so comfortable, and she designed a tattoo for me, so it's completely unique. It's something that's mine, and it's meaningful to me, and it's so empowering to be able to put something beautiful on top of that experience.
And so that's what you're able to do, is you're able to transform that experience into something that was so much more positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the ups and downs of that. Tell us a little bit about, I've been fortunate not to be around that except for one person in my family that I know of as far as really close. So tell us about, being diagnosed and how you go through all these different emotions and then you're able to take that back. Because I've never thought of in that sense.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty long road. When I was diagnosed, I didn't even know that you lose your nipples when you have breast cancer a lot of times. There's not a lot of public education around things like that. So you have the option when you have a mastectomy you can get fake nipples or you can just get nipples tattooed on. So I didn't know those were options. But after my mastectomy, I found out that I had to do chemo because of how aggressive my tumor was. Originally, they did not think that was going to be necessary. So I did chemo and then breast reconstruction. And so I did chemo for about a year. And then actually when I got my port taken out, a blood clot shook off and landed in my heart, and my heart stopped in the hospital the next day. So it's a pretty wild up and down. You never know what's going to happen. Traumatizing experience. And after that last incident, I had been living in New Jersey with my parents and doing comedy in Philadelphia. And I was like, I'm just going to move to the West Coast because I'm not doing another East Coast winter. And sort of, try to start a new beginning. Even though I'm doing preventative measures now, I think it was important for me to sort of leave that chapter of my life behind.
And did getting the tattoo help you leave it behind?
Yeah, I would say so. It's very collaborative. It's when people try to support you throughout cancer, a lot of times you end up comforting others around you more than you end up comforting yourself. But to do something artistically, it's sort of a collaborative effort. So it's almost like therapy, to work through some of that. And, you're having conversations. My friend Ren was there. So it was very female healing energy. And I think it was absolutely the right thing for me to do.
Yeah, wow. Well, we're going to jump to a quick break. But before we do, can we get from you where your store is on Lyons Avenue?
Yeah, it's in Plaza Posada, 23550 Lyons Avenue, Suite 103.
Great. Well, we're going to jump to a quick break, and we'll be right back with Holly Feneht and Nikki Black on AM 1220 KHTS. Good morning, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Host Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by Holly Feneht. Holly Feneht is with Gilded Lily. And yes. She's a tattoo artist, and you're an artist, right?
Yes.
And you've gotten into an area called paramedical tattooing, which really helps cover up scars. It helps people recover, but more so also on a psychological level in helping. And Nikki Black. Nikki Black is a cancer survivor. I love this. You're a writer and a comedian. So having a double mastectomy at the age of 23... and having your heart stop in the hospital, that must give you some pretty good material for your job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did my first set about having breast cancer a week after I was diagnosed at an open mic, and most of the comics in Philly didn't know yet. So that was sort of that was my coming out with it, I guess, which might seem insane, but for me it totally worked. Comedy for me was a great way to sort of process everything because you're always looking at situations from different angles and finding connections between things that you wouldn't have seen before. So it was a great way for me to sort of work through what I was experiencing.
Not only that, it allows you to be real with people.
Yeah.
And connect with people because you are, I don't want to say making fun, but you are highlighting your own challenges.
Yeah, it's a great educator. I think comedy can be a great educator because you can go to really, really dark places as long as you sort of bring it back up because it's all under the cover of this sort of warm, fuzzy feeling of everyone listening and interacting and
laughing and enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And also getting more real.
Yeah, absolutely.
In situations like this where you can, and then all the experiences you had going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, Holly, some of your other experiences other than the breast reconstruction that like a breast cancer survivor would have if they had a mastectomy. You do some other work to help people.
Correct, yeah.
Or ladies.
Yeah, and it's men also that get affected by breast cancer, and they sometimes need nipples and areolas replaced. So it's definitely a possibility for men as well. But as far as other scars and unsightly imperfections that just sort of bug people, I mean, I've covered up birthmarks that just have made women feel uncomfortable if they're in, just a very obvious space and they just want something really beautiful to cover that up. Tummy tuck scars, C-section scars. A lot of times women come in and with the tummy tuck scars, they oftentimes say, I never would have done a tummy tuck had I known the scarring was going to be this bad. It's usually hip to hip, and sometimes it doesn't. There's varying levels of quality of doctors in this world as well. And I think a lot of times for breast cancer survivors, your main obvious motivation is to be healthy and get to live the rest of your life. So when it comes down to a plastic surgeon and everything, it's either the first thing that's available. I don't know that women always necessarily have time to do enough research. So sometimes these doctors, and depending on what they need to deal with, obviously number one concern is get rid of the cancer. So when it comes to the reconstruction, there's not always a whole lot of options, and there are a lot of times severe complications. I've had women that have come in with 14 procedures trying to get a reconstruction accomplished.
To get it right the way they envision it.
Well, yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, there are still imperfections, and I think it's something, I guess, we either have to live with, or you get something beautiful to cover it up and make the best out of it. I mean, a lot of my women, they are so stoked they don't even wear, they don't wear a bra, and then two, they're like, oh, I don't mind if my shirt falls down while I'm at the store. So
right, they're proud of who they've become.
Yeah.
I would just say, as a woman that's been through breast cancer, with all those surgeries, you're just blindly trusting a doctor. You're not even awake for it. So it's such a powerful thing to be able to work with a tattoo artist while you're awake and cognizant the whole time and really collaborating on something. It's a completely different experience.
It's a different medical experience. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in, Holly. Thanks for sharing. Do you have anything new that you want to talk about as far as any shows you're doing in the near future?
Oh, I'll be doing a show at Basic Flowers in Los Angeles, November 21st. It's called Wet Silk. You guys should check it out.
And how can if they want to find out where you're playing, is it easy? Do you have a website, or is there a place to find where comedians play?
The best place to find me is on my Twitter account. That's at Nikki, Nikki, Black, Black, Attack, Attak, no C. So,
very good.
Yeah. That's the
Thanks
best place.
for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And God bless you in your recovery.
Thank you.
And hopefully that remission stays a remission. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And Holly, those who want to reach out and maybe be a part of the solution or recommend a friend to you.
Yeah, gildedlilydesign.com. I'm also local here in Santa Clarita, of course, so my shop number is 661-523-8623.
Great. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Holly Feneht and Nikki Black. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. This show is Fred Arnold on AM 1220 KHTS.